Carmine Corp manages to get the dub, and FPX are left questioning why did they go to Lotus when it all just seemed to crumble down for them. Unfortunately, they go down 1-0 in this series, and we move over to Haven. Golden Boy here alongside with Brennan Sideshow, and I think out of the gate, I mean, I like that they went for Lotus. I like that they tried something unique, but there was something that Pansy and Hypox said on the cast, which was, did you go to Lotus because you figured it would be the least prepared map for Carmine, or did you actually have a plan? And I kind of feel like it was the former rather than the latter.
Yeah, Carmine Corp ended up being the more prepared team, even though they didn't pick the map, I think. But what blew me away is just the difference in terms of like the first kill differential. And I mean, look at that, 17-2.
Goodness gracious.
17 of the 19 rounds, Carmine Corp was getting the first kill. And I think part of that was because FPX's early round ideas were half-baked.
Yeah,
and so Carmine Corp were set up for really nice kills. And they have some very talented players, XMS, Nevera, Shin, Scream, etc. And then you get the funny business happening too. So even though it was a roll of a map, I was still entertained. We saw the classic silly stuff coming out from FPX.
I wish we'd have shown the clip before that, though, because that actually shattered my brain. He stayed in the nanoswarm just because he's like, don't never suspend me in the
unexpected
nanoswarm.
play, and honestly, when you're watching, the Chinese teams play, they tend to make a lot of those like high-risk, very unexpected plays that do catch teams off guard. But when you're up against a team with that kind of experience like Carmine Corp, even though they've only just really come together as a roster, they're still disciplined enough to not really get caught off guard by moments like that.
Yeah, for sure. But guys, I feel the need for Verizon high-speed moment of the match. That would have worked out way better in my mind. But this one's going to go to Carmine Corp, who were on that premium Wi-Fi as they were just trying to run across the map to get that plant down, because it looked like things could have gone real poorly there, Brent.
Yeah, real poorly indeed, just with the time management, but just seconds to spare in terms of them being able to get this plant off as well. And just a slight whiffage, I suppose, by FPX not being able to stop this plant as well. But I think this kind of bleeds into just a wider analytical point as well. It's something that we were expecting, which is FPX being inexperienced in that LAN environment as well. And there were numerous moments over the course of that map where that kind of reared its head. And it's unfortunate for the team because this is a real trial by fire. You don't get the backup, of the lower groups where you get, you get to lose your first match and get a bit more experience.
True.
Single elimination in this tournament, you have to fix those mistakes rapidly. But there was another instance as well that it just showcased again, I think, just in terms of the mid-round calling in round 16 that I wanted to pull up. And again, it was an example of like, you see them play, I think, in their own region as well, if you watch some of the VODs of the Chinese region, but making a play like this works against a team that doesn't have a good idea of what they want to do on their attacking default to contain a play like this, which you see a lot in regions like, in some of the weaker teams, I suppose, from China and APAC as well. But teams like Carmine Corp, these guys have been forged in the fires of EMEA. They're not going to be letting something like that slip, even if Scream is IGLing.
Yeah, they're still really disciplined, and that was on the fly, but XMS just tucks in as bait. They have the turret, Scream's there to punish, and FPX are not going to be able to get away with stuff like that. And now I'm worried for them too, because they're heading to their permaban map, and I don't know what to expect. Yeah,
for sure, and that is giving us a lot of pause here, and let's actually get a little warm-up before map 2, which it's very warm in here, and let's actually check out the AIM Lab shoot-around. We're actually going to be following FPX's Berlin here, who's looking to get warm on the warm stage.
This guy has a fantastic stream, by the way. I just want to say that if you do want to follow it, he was streaming from the like practice facilities, and he was getting all the Brazilian fans in his chat trying to teach him Portuguese phrases for ranked and stuff. But he speaks pretty good English as well. It's conversational, on his own stream, but he's a great personality.
Yeah, was he the one playing with the penguin crosshair?
Yes.
I mean, that is just absurd. his stats were pretty abhorrent as well in the previous map. But
could have been the crosshair.
He's got talent, but I think when you get to this kind of level, the stress of IGLing on the stage against a really competent, experienced team, that is overwhelming. And you frequently see in these kind of environments at Masters and now at Lock-In that the IGL's individual ability just falls off a cliff because they're having to think about so much else and you only have so much bandwidth to deal with.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And it's moments like this where you get really tested, like you said, as an IGL. And I think, unfortunately, from what we've seen in that first map as well, I think the fact that Carmine Corp was so able to just pry open those weaknesses in the play that we saw across the board from FPX, where, they had gaps in their play with their attacks to default, giving up a lot of space. Carmine Corp ready to take advantage of that pretty quickly. Pretty impressed, honestly, with the more supportive players, the newer, inexperienced players on Carmine Corp. I think they really did step up to the plate in this series at times.
I want to see more from Newzera because I felt like he wasn't really getting involved in very much. He only had something like 14 duels by the end of the game, whereas, you know, some of the people on FPX had 14 deaths by the end of the game. But for Shin, for XMS, they were really stepping up in a big way to the point where they were getting as much value as Nivera and more value, arguably, in terms of their rifling than Scream was, where Scream was more to do with getting info and working the map. Yeah. So I was really impressed with the development and the integration specifically of XMS and Shin.
Yeah, well, guys, if you're just joining us, welcome, obviously, to the VCT lock-in here in São Paulo, as Carmine Corp managed to pick up a big win there on FPX's pick of Lotus. It was a bit of a gamble. It didn't quite work out for them, but we learned a little bit, Brent, about Lotus, how Lotus plays out, you know, at a professional level. I'm excited to see how this map, you know, evolves, because I really enjoyed watching it.
I think if we ever see, you know, Lotus getting picked even more in this tournament, which I think you will, you know, there's a lot of games being played. Chances are it probably rears its head. You're probably going to see even more, you know, composition variety, I think, being played.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, settles the competition.
No.
It was just
don't think so.
But also, I can see the strengths of the composition, though.
Yeah, the wild thing is, though, that is a comp that FPX love playing on pretty much every map. FPX love playing this Viper Omen setup, even on maps where it doesn't make sense. You know where it doesn't make sense, Golden Boy? Haven. And that's what they played last time they played Haven. They played Viper Omen.
Yeah. I was looking at VR, I was going through, I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll do that again. Oh, surely they did that because they were just, but that seems to be a thing.
That was the first time they played Haven in a long time, too, because it normally is a permaban for this team. So, at this point, it really looks wrapped up in a pretty bow for Carmine Corp. They should be able to run away with this. I feel like, again, the French players, the French teams, normally thrive on this map.
All right, well, here we go. Prime Gaming Agent Select. You can see the options there for FPX. Yu-Chen with that Viper. If he locks it in, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's
there we go.
Very likely. So,
there we go.
And the way that they play this composition
Watch
as well
burn.
is really quite odd as well. It kind of goes against the core of how a lot of teams play Haven, which is like, you know, heavy retake. And look at this, it's actually a triple initiator composition by Carmine Corp to play. That is also a little bit capped.
Oh man, they are cooking. This is what you expect though from the Scream, like brainwaves, is something that doesn't really seem to play to his strengths, but it's more of like how he thinks the game should be played.
All right, well, that's going to wrap things up here, but let's find out if this one can go the distance. I surely want it to go to Pearl. Let's send it back to our casters. It's Pansy and Hypoc.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Agent selects weird, Michael. It's weird.
It's a little odd, yeah.
Weird.
Again, no real surprises. Obviously, maybe people that aren't familiar with FPX, you got to keep it in check. But obviously, there's questions here, and coming out of map 1,
yes.
I think we should have a better idea of whether or not FPX were feeling as if Lotus was going to be a little a wild card, right? Something quirky to pull out, catch Carmine Corp off guard. But the concern being, I'm kind of with Josh here. This comes back, and it feels a bit more like comfort zone for Carmine Corp here. Knowing the history of some of these players, and obviously the comp will see how they're going to play this separately, but this one for me is really concerning with what we saw on map 1, whether or not this is FPX slipping back into a bit more of a comfortable composition that they've cooked up. And yeah, like I said, I'm staying open-minded.
Yeah, I think I'll give it this half and see where we're at. It is international debut. Obviously, it does. It warrants attention though. First round here, and certainly not an easy opponent in Carmine Corp either. And this composition, even coming out from the EMEA side, it's going to be a little unorthodox. And for now, taking their time around the map. Looks like they do want to at least test towards the B site for now.
That's why you might be tested here. Again, being suppressed, won't have use of that headhunter for the time being. But Carmine Corp don't follow through.
So, they've got a 3-play stack on long still. Essentially, I mean, you've got one towards Zero, I guess, but and not over pushing, not trying to maybe hit that flank, but it's there. Headhunter comes back around and does find where it wants to be. Shin's gone down.
Yu-Chan not noted as well, so he can stay tucked in here. Yeah, completely unconsidered here. Scream drifts a little further forwards. TZH's going to find a couple of freebies outside A lobby,
Lovely.
and it's only Newzera to try and recover this in a 1v5 here.
It's really nicely played out by FPX, actually. Love that. And TZH just going to keep farming it forward. That's 3 in the round. Yeah, I actually quite enjoyed what I saw there.
To touch on the comp here as well, obviously with Carmine Corp showing heavy presence towards C-Long initially, big positive for me to see FPX pick up that slack elsewhere, right? The absence of a breach and not to have a raise to play off the fade here in the composition for FPX, they need to make sure that they can safely get that control of A lobby, just with a couple of the differences in utility that they do have available.
Happy to see that. Good start after a quiet second half in the first map to bounce back in and pick up a pistol. There. Good scenes. Careful here. A couple of sheriffs coming out though for Carmine Corp, so not completely out of the woods just yet, but already aggression. And willingness to commit behind it too, and this is across the map. You've got both players happy to fight over towards A-Long, one towards Sewer, and C-Long had commitment behind it. B was left completely open.
Glaring the smokes outside. B site as well, side of FPX. I think on the back of that knife being invested from Scream. Fault line not going to catch anything, and so I don't think that was the intention, but a load of information picked up by A Yang here. Actually beautiful control of the entire map here from FPX.
Yeah, punished though in the follow-up from Nevera. Stunning shot on towards TZH, and that does open up the map, and the rotations might take a second or two. You see the sprint coming out from Berlin, yeah. Has to give away somewhat of the game as well. And we'll have the follow-up to be noted here, suppressed. But this isn't where the attacking side are heading now. Backfilling over towards C after pulling that attention and the rotation.
But it pulled YU off C site, all the way back in CT now, and it's going to be difficult to fight their way back onto site, and actually going to be a fairly late retake, considering 2 members still just making their way through A lobby.
Teleport's ready.
What do they do with this now? It's all down to this, really, and that's a perfect start, actually. Taking down Scream opens up opportunities. Nothing feels particularly safe. They can try and fold towards CT, but there is a player here. Why are you sitting towards CT? Does get the inkling, he does now. Good tag, falls back, gets the frag, looks for the fall. Oh! Stunning shot, needs another. He's got support now, and it falls to pieces. Just one left alive. Great work from FPX here.
I was say it was going to be very late. It's on the back of a little further aggression in towards CT. I think they're just very conscious of the fact that they've got an awful lot to work with on site, but with YU tucked in that deep, I mean, he was even later than the 2 players that actually made their way all the way across from A lobby. FPX, luckily, pulling that retake off. We'll find themselves 2 up. Another round, though, that Nevera able to punish here, find first blood. I mean, map 1 was so one-sided in terms of the first bloods. And the difficulty being that FPX were really struggling to actually even trade out those first bloods or convert those 4v5s.
I do want to see how they adjust this for Carmine Corp. Now, this time around, the buy is out. I want to see how they handle this extremity pressure that we've seen somewhat consistently, right? And we're seeing it again. Berlin happy to get into the mix. Yes, this time with Spectres, though, so they do have that bonus round to play with, so why not? And oh, lovely. Navigating around the side. Berlin really working it out. The timing could not have been worse for Shin. Gets to slip away into the night and does great deals of damage here.
Chung got himself a pocket to play. This is the top of C-Long. Scream, actually sharp to it. We'll find the kill. Now YU left to hold on to C site. Ayang might just get caught on the timing here in this rotation through spawn, but Scream looking to tuck inside. Window for the time being. Respecting this headhunter for the time being. But Spike slowly making his way this direction. Nuzera will fall way ahead of this execution coming through.
Why are you absolutely having a tear of a round? Potential for another here too. 3 more bullets to play with. Not gonna happen. XMS and the boys do make it up towards C-Long. They do finally get that nice synergy building towards the site. Ayak's still here and still doing so much oh no! Oh dearie me. It's all gone Pete Tong. We're down to a 1v2. Berlin and TZH. And Scream just wants to get something on his side, at least the time now. Rifle still to hand, no utility for 10 more seconds to play with. Prowler, Horn goes up, does now reveal position. Free fight on the first, and there's no trade. The paranoia, also on the timing, not good enough to deal with Scream.
Closing out in style, a clean kill onto Berlin, and tons of space to reposition as well. TZH still a little behind the curve there.
I was the bonus, though.
That was the bonus. A ton of damage done. Just looking at Carmine Corp's purchase coming through. Just about stretching 3 rifles here, but Nuzera in a rough spot. The option here for Scream to actually go to light, yeah, and he will do that. Get rifles across the board. XMS just a little overzealous, and it's Scream's fragment to shut that one down. Carmine Corp on the board here.
This is a change, though. They've kind of done the indicator that they're still going to have that A-long presence, but they've peeled away from it now, leaving just TZH posted up towards sewer. And again, you have conditioned Carmine Corp to have to respect this. They will have to at least commit utility to clear back through close towards A-long. I want to see where they adjust to. Maybe feeling that pressure through Garage and B, maybe next on the docket. Ala finds nothing, though, and they do start to at least stretch their legs towards taking the space on A-long.
The intention is here for Carmine Corp as they drift back into A lobby. First time actually that FPX haven't really solidified this control. I think that's the trade-off here for a walk down mid for Berlin and Yang.
Oh, I love this proactivity on the map. They give up one space and take it back on the other side.
As I say that, TZH just slipping back in towards heaven. Can't really commit to the spam through the smoke here, but Carmine Corp should get themselves a clean plant. Seeker's invested on the flank here, so Scream and Nuvera have to hold down the fort here on long.
So much utility still to be worked through. Berlin, I thought he'd be caught a little more by that flash, but no, the unhand didn't quite find it. And actually, we're seeing Carmine Corp folding here, being folded over by FPX, who wins out every single fight there. How the hell did they just cleanly pull that back off?
They had very early information on this flank as well. The Seekers obviously coming through makes it a little trickier to deal with, but
also XMS's utility got dealt with too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the health bars on the left side here, FPX barely took any damage, let alone 5 standing.
They're playing this game in such a fluid way. I mean, we talk about kind of taking space and what that means and kind of playing off extremities. I have to give a lot of credit here to FPX that they are absolutely working Carmine Corp in that regard. Yes, they gave up a long control, but it wasn't like they then went, okay, well, we'll sit back in more of a default. No, they took that mid control, pushing straight down towards B, proactive with it, hyper aware that maybe they're going to have to play retake on A, and look how well it was devised. Map 1, throw it out the window. I'm loving this FPX.
I think the stark contrast being, we had the conversation during Lotus that there was a real lack of, game plan in the early round for FPX, and here it's totally different. I was going to say, actually, Berlin looking to capitalize on the flash. Scream actually with the punish through the smoke. Potentially create an opening here, but XMS punished, but Nuzera has slipped into hell.
Okay, that could be something. How far does he get? It looks like they're, the shot! So well considered, took his time with it on the second. TZH, again, the consideration here from both sides is perfect. We're in a 3v3, but look at the buy that's being made to work with here for Carmine Corp. Now the rifles, anything to hand, no. You look at where they were able to find these picks, not quite able to filter those back through, but plenty of util here, Mike.
Yep, the Rolling Thunder to come through on the back of contact here. Actually, YU, with that operator, going to make it problematic on the retake. Gotta be conscious here of heaven. Nobody's watching it. And that's the Rolling Thunder out the window.
And that's an arena play and a half. You do that when they can't even hear the drop down, so unaware, so tunnel visioned towards CT. And that's going to be the diffusion. FPX, I'm loving what I'm seeing. Do you know what? I'm happy to be proven wrong so far. I was worried. Map 1, I hated what I saw. Didn't like it. Didn't look familiar to me, but what I'm seeing from FPX is beautiful, and they are making Carmine Corp sweat.
I mean, from a fundamental standpoint, this is a different team in Map 2.
What's happened? Beautiful, beautiful Valorant right now.
Carmine Corp obviously coming back in with the purchase here, but you see Nuzera just needs somebody there. Not sure of what exactly is going on in Spawn that Scream's focused on that, but with one player towards short, a little window of opportunity for Heaven to be exposed there, and Nuzera's punished for it. Bonus being they have the Rolling Thunder to bring into the buy round.
Yep.
Not thrown out to try and convert that previous Thrifty. Viper's bit off the rip down C long here, so removing an entire extremity. So maybe a little bit of misinformation here with TZH being pinged on that knife.
going to go for a burst towards B. I want to see what they actually commit for here. Prowler goes in. So again, trying to finish towards C. I guess you could try and navigate through Garage and try and circumvent the ult, but they still have they still have to be so respectful of these flanks coming in. And Nevera, freebie, TZH completely blind. It is that burst towards B. Beautiful utility combination work. Do manage to get away from the site.
But I think he actually spotted Nevera slipping into Rabbit there. Doesn't matter though, YU with the swing. Find it with the operator.
Not much to clear the back line though, Mike, and you still got that potential look that gets considered. Are you kidding me? I thought Scream got away with it there, but absolutely not. And XMS coming right on back in, barreling through. Carmine Corp finally get a grip on one of these rounds in the post plant here. FPX halted now.
It's actually so unfortunate for TZH as well. He turns the flash, but I think almost considering it wasn't going to bounce back towards front sight here. So fully catches that. Nevera capitalizing. Finds the opener and actually with the double TP back out. Able to get away scot-free. I mean, FPX made it a little interesting here, but problem being it's so late to sit on that with the Rolling Thunder. FPX would have had to dig all the way towards window to really remove the possibility of Carmine Corp converting it. FPX going to pump the brakes a little bit here in round 7.
Nice way to take the momentum away from Carmine Corp if they wanted to build off that confidence after that prior round, and also just maybe note what the adjustment was, because I'd say have been going beyond Carmine Corp in most of the rounds that they'd run prior. So yeah, maybe nice little time to check in on this, see what's going to be going on. Still have plenty of ults to play with too. Obviously missing out too. We saw one of them investing over towards C-Long at the start of this, but touching base, night and day difference from map 1 for me. I'm so happy to see this from FPX. I was terribly worried we were going to have a bit of a blowout series, and even if they get held on 4 now, the caliber is already very different.
A very different standard of FPX here on map 2, that's for sure. And whether or not actually we can allude to maybe that being a quirk they want to pull out with Lotus and it's not paying off for them, but Carmine Corp got their work cut out for them here. Again, this is the side we do expect this composition to really thrive, being the chamber, the double controller on the side of FPX. Certainly want to see Carmine Corp pick up a couple more just to make this comfortable. Do have the tour de force available. Felt like I haven't had to say that in a while.
Yeah, so you're away from it all. Back to the aggression though. Still exploring over towards A-Long, so showing this. So I wonder if they're going back to it.
Carmine Corp have not been on the other side of this once. No. Berlin tasked with holding on to this. Actually, TZH coming all the way through. The second smoke deep towards A lobby.
Prowler missed him. And the paranoia certainly does, and Nevera though holds him away. Keeps him at arm's length, and Berlin needs to make a run for it. Dash away and get back to safety. Beautiful work coming in. That's honestly on Nevera, just individually finding that one shot, because everyone else was just smothered with that paranoia.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful timing for the smoke to drop. Nevera obviously playing a little deeper, so not affected by that paranoia.
Counter.
Should really slow things down though.
Oh, the paranoia.
Berlin still finds that. What?
How that paranoia was perfectly placed towards him, but the overwhelm from Carmine Corp is brilliant. Having the 3 trades coming in almost back to back, clears the site, and then the last player's a mile away. That was C site hold. So this one should be wraps here unless something goes terribly astray.
We'll have the tour de force to work with 8 headhunter shots, but it's a tall order to pull off this 1v3. Opportunity to retrieve a Vandal here at least. Yeah, Nevera posted up with that operator.
Yep.
We'll find his 3rd on the round. That's Carmine Corp's 3rd on the board. He's going to be struggling a little bit here financially. There's going to be any investment at all. Looks like it might just be Sheriff's. Yeah, you see a couple of members of Carmine Corp affected by the paranoia there, but Nevera playing deeper and up on the ledge there to avoid it. I said awful timing for the smoke to drop there, but credit to Carmine Corp in that regard if that was timed to perfection. And clear to note, nobody from Carmine Corp entertaining this A lobby presence. So once again, TZH and Berlin will get a little curious. Despite not committed just yet, YU does get an opportunity with the headhunter, but does not connect this time around. And seeing Nivera actually put out the operator on attack kind of implies Carmine Corp are going to continue with this slow pace. Like I said, considering those numbers from map 1, if they can continue to dominate this first Blood game, might just pay off for them.
Yeah,
A lot more restraint demonstrated here from FPX, though. As I say that, why you punished it.
Really considered play by Nivera as well. They seem quite aware there's a possibility of a large presence toward A. And yeah, that should be enough of an indicator to maybe look towards that C site, and that's exactly what Carmine Corp are doing. And correctly so as it stands. They might have to dismantle this stack here and try and filter it back through. But by now the site should be won. Still going to do the due diligence though, go through the motions, ensure that this isn't just a bit of a bait, a bit of a ruse, and it's certainly not. And this is when I start questioning the depth of FPX. If we look at other games, again, it's always been the depth of their ability to adjust, their ability to go beyond that initial phase of what they're bringing to the plate, which was fantastic. It garnered those 4 brilliant rounds. I do want to see where they go from this now, because Carmine Corp seem absolutely back in the driving seat here. Oh dear. One might have slipped the net, but he's just farming. Doing his share, a little bit of light armor, but Nivera just enjoying himself. Lovely confidence booster there for him. The Prime Gaming flawless.
Starting to hit their stride now. We have a tie game for a piece here on Haven. See elimination on the cards here. Don't forget that.
Yep.
FPX have to win this one to force the third. And then just considering how far back he was in the open there, setting up for that reveal. For the first time, looks like FPX are going to give up this setup towards A lobby. I mean, the switch up will be YU over here with the operator.
Ooh.
Not noted as of yet.
Scary time to test this too. That operator ready to go. Shot and a half. Slaps to Nivera. Deletes him after a stellar round from Nivera just a moment ago. Now back on guard, back on duty. Once again, a reminder, do not go to this A site. Do not challenge us. Do they dare to continue to go forward?
Why are you actually not invested his trap just yet? An opportunity here, yeah, seen it placed just outside B. More drift. Back on towards A site. TZH set up on top of the box here. A-Yang will be noted on the back of the utility. So they know of at least 2 towards A side here. Carmine Corp still looking curious. That should be another noted with TZH dealing with that Prowler.
There's a lot of pressure on A-Yang here. If they do end up going up towards the
Big info on that reveal, and you can see Carmine Corp already peeling away.
Trap gone though, this should call attention. XMS going to pull them away from this, but actually pulling all the players away, but rightly so. Carmine Corp are bringing everyone towards the B site now.
Here.
Re-exploring a little, and the lurk going to be met. Shin won't have the freest of times now. Yeah, TZH, the timing! Oh, it's good it's worked out for Shin here. The response though, comes back in. They've won out on the B side though, but it's fine timing. 10 seconds, but the spike's now down. Scream, posted up, gets forced away. A-Yang is not out of it yet.
Reveal off the neural theft here. So again, all the information in favor of Carmine Corp. Chunk got to find something on the way back through. XMS will fall. Scream answers back though.
Oh my word, cleaning these players out. Carmine Corp not sitting so deep this time, couldn't sit so deep. And getting punished for FPX. Once again, rekindling some of that early round, early map form we've seen now.
That's unfortunate. Shin has a perfect opportunity to pinch this. Finds the one onto TZH. Paranoia in hand. Unfortunately dealt with, traded out there. Just inside CTRs, but this shot was beautiful. Nivera just nice. Caught behind this cage dropping. Oh. And you could see it just as he looked away as well. Big work from Yuchun though. That's with all the information. Carmine Corp's way.
Do they dare go back to try and test the waters by A? I feel like they have to rescind from that, Carmine Corp, and it looks like, yeah, C-site the next on the dock. But operators here.
The reveal didn't actually ping YU there.
Huh.
I don't think it was shot immediately, but it also didn't ping him. I mean, now will be noted at least he's firing off operator shots inside that smoke. XMS trying to find a timing elsewhere.
He is a little ahead of maybe TZH here, so, but I don't know if you can make much of that really. Oh, bolt. All right, It looks like full commitment behind this. Do they stay or do they dip? And they're losing that opportunity to find the timing. TZH does not get to turn the flash either. Shin with the punish, and now already the site's going to be smothered. Berlin, though, what a shot! Mechanically just about holding on to this site. Making a scrap out of it and bring it to a 2v2 standing. Scream on the knees for now.
Spike planted.
And Spike's now in their favor.
Yeah, you can see the res not coming through, so it'll be a straight 2v2 here. Got to be conscious. Why are you creeping up long here? Yuchen just has to play his time here. Snakebite's available for him.
Oh, he's drawn the attention, surely. That should have been a free shot, you'd have imagined. Not the case at all.
Snakebite should be good. You actually going to find the first, and actually converts
beautiful.
With the headhunter as well. And you're right, felt like a freebie on the first, but cleans it up on the back of that second snakebite. FPX once again pulling off a successful retake here. It's just unfortunate the timing of Scream falling, unable to get that revive on site.
Yeah.
Reducing the numbers. This might just be the last purchase Carmine Corp.
Oh.
Able to string together here.
So sharp.
Even here with the null command, FPX is just happy to just dig their heels in. Play some trades on site, it makes it 10 times easier for them to pull this retake off. All looking to buy some time for YU.
Yep. It worked. I got really nervous because...
I mean, this is the first round where actually you've got to be a little bit critical of the attacking operator on the side of Navera, right? You see it's caught out in no man's land.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything there, you want to see him posted up deep on long, holding the heaven angle. He's all the way up on site. As soon as that first player falls, I think actually Shin's the one to fall behind screen. And Navera's just stuck the remnants of Carmine Corp. I think Nuzera swinging back through from shore.
This is much more exciting. I hope we see this. Again, I don't want to get too excited because it was that second half that really petered out in that first map, but already this looks so much better from FPX. Not particularly cheesy, a little bit unique, I'd say. This isn't like a cheese comp we're seeing really either. Making Chamber look pretty decent so far too. So by all accounts, pretty decent. Forcing Carmine Corp to hit that timeout button, so that's going to be used up here. A couple of ults to play with, though, some pretty pivotal ones as well.
Rolling Thunder in hand for Nuzera. Carmine Corp need to make this one work. I mean, see verbatim what I said on the first map, it's this purchase coming through in the 11th. They don't get the spike plant. He's scraping together SMGs in round 12.
Different look, totally different.
Yeah, just
so much
heavily relying on YU to completely anchor this area now, and I think finally the penny has dropped that Carmine Corp don't really want to contest early on. That spot, yes, it does connect. Unfortunate for YU there, so has to give up this deep angle. The operator not revealed just yet.
No, still unknown. Smoke towards long. YU can get a second bite of the cherry, but does he expect the push up from Scream? He's not playing with that in mind, and he actually gets to catch a player out. 6 HP, chance of fights and falls. Scream with a punish, and they hold on to the site for now. Oh, lovely work from Berlin, though, to get there as quick as possible. Denies Scream trying to capitalize on the gap that could have been created. And Berlin still holding the site, still expecting Shin. Still noting more players, the paranoia good, but so's the Prowler off the back of it. Navera's there, Shin as well to boot. They're holding on for now. 2 players still alive, though, on the other side.
Almost scraping this one through. Feels so hard fought here for Carmine Corp. Shin's done wonders here to make this work. Unorthodox wall here. FPX looking to just creep up behind this. Yeah, they are.
Okay, they've got to play. Yes, they do. TZH finds XMS. And the shot he comes on out. Oh, right on back. Navera posted right back. TP taken. Operated a hand. And now the 1v1. Yuchen has to try and close that gap. Navera's having none of it.
And it's only down to the wide swing from Yuchen that Navera still finds that. It's crazy to see them make some of these retakes work, though. The adjustment here on the Viper wall works out beautifully. It's so interesting to watch some of these rounds. Navera
Jesus.
making it work with the shorty initially. Like I said, Yuchen expecting Nevera to be tucked deep into sewers there. Big round to pull off here because it enables this purchase in round 12. A couple of gaps in utility, yes, but ultimates to offset that.
Back to business, it sounds like. TZH going to post himself right up in towards the corner. Prowler goes towards sewer, similar to scenes prior. And now filled by Young, but now this time TZH did really well at the pistol here, but a little bit of a different scenario, but still the Stinger good for it. TP's away, doesn't get the chance to get the gun out, but backfilled here. Lovely work. Keeps favorable numbers to FPX, but he needs to get a move on. He's being closed down on, and now he can't escape that corner.
They're looking to TP all the way back in. Actually going to commit to this. Berlin's got his hands full here. They're able to TP away from the C's.
Counter roll as well. Should have good info on this. Not going to find Nevera though. And actually, tell a lie, they do. And I thought they may have another shot at this. Berlin just flies out, finds one, down to the 1v1. New chance! Dead and buried. Gap is closed. It could not be closer now.
It definitely didn't feel like a 6-6 half. Carmine Corp, I almost feel like clinging to life in some of these rounds. FPX really testing them on some of these post plants. Like I said, play really unorthodox. What is that kill from Berlin? Just barrels out with the classic. Shin standing his ground once again. Delivers the final kill of the half to secure the 6th round.
I did not expect to see this. I think map 1, if we're being realist, this looked maybe like it was going to be a quick 2-0. This is a whole different look. I wonder what the desk has made of that.
Well, that was quite a fascinating half of video games that were being played on stage today. Lots happened there, but regardless, Bren, I have to say, it's entertaining.
It is certainly entertaining. I mean, listen, we knew it was going to be that. This is some absolute jail Valorant that we're witnessing right now. And I mean, I am in love with this as well because it's just, there's little gaps in both teams' play that it just creates these magical moments like the ending there where Berlin's jump around the corner, getting a kill in the air was classic. But just fantastic stuff. In particular, though, I was taking a look at Yuchen as well, his performance, because, listen, we were critiquing this Viper play, and as an individual, the guy is putting up some amazing numbers. Now, if you're looking at this and thinking, wow, I should really be playing Viper on Haven, I think the answer is still no. I think it's a little bit half-baked at times. Sometimes he's getting caught out. But what's really impressive with Yuchen is just, I think again, it's the raw mechanics coming together the way he's playing off his teammates. And most of the time with a lot of these retakes and Carmine Corp's inability to really put a stop to any of it.
And that is what's getting me, is that both teams are playing really unorthodox compositions and it's creating a ton of unforced mistakes. So I want to take us all the way back to round 3 because this was happening all the time, but round 3 was a particularly decent example, I think, where off the rip, you've got Berlin walking over the top of XMS's really bad trip that he plays and gets a kill onto Shin there. And that's horrendous. And then Scream is eventually left in a 1v2 where, hello, double facing? No idea. No plan to do that whatsoever. So there are just so many moments like this. But what this means looking forward into the next half is it's anybody's game. And I think it comes down to Scream, it comes down to Berlin, and it's about getting your players that might have a bit of stage jitters right now and are making tons of mistakes, getting them to calm down and just focus on what's working. And what's working is Nevera's off.
I mean, that's super important as well. You got to remember as well, single limb, FPX's first time on the international stage. You know, the nerves are probably playing his mark, but this is a very, very even map.
Well, going into the second half, we're wiping the slate clean. Let's see how this one all plays out. We could be going to a map 3. Let's send it back over to the casters.
Yeah, thank you. It could be happening. This is, was it Prison Valorant?
Jail Valorant.
Yeah, Jail Valorant. You've got a real way with words down there. It's been quite something, and I think that is actually a pretty good analogy for what this has been.
Couldn't have put it better myself.
You know, I was really looking for ways to describe it, but I think we found it.
What's terrifying is I was talking about obviously this comp kind of excelling, or where we expect to see value for FPX being on the defense. They have a 67% attacking win rate on Haven with this composition. Now that's terrifying. There's going to be a slow burn here for FPX with this double controller setup. Now Carmine Corp are looking to counter that. Like initially on the back of this utility, going to double walk mid. Spike not committed just yet. Got to keep eyes on YU deep on that lurk towards C long. Also Yuchen set upside window. Good information actually from Rivera. You can see over the top of that poison orb.
Oh, timing.
Unfortunate for YU there.
Yeah.
But that should be the green light to proceed towards A.
Yep. I think they have the site for now. Surely you don't test this. Do they burst this? They actually are. They're pouring towards the site. And I don't know if I love that yet. Berlin and Yang make light work of this, going through the smoke of the back of some utility that didn't really find anything.
Carmine Corp looking to catch them off guard with some utility ahead of that spike being planted, but Berlin punishes with 2 kills. Now just Shin to try and recover it. TZH deals with it comfortably. Like I said, Carmine Corp should absolutely read that. They deal with YU solo over towards second mid. They know there's no second swing coming through. They have to feel it's a stack outside 8. Again, maybe just a little mishap in terms of the execution to pressure as that spike comes through. Oh, okay, well, yeah. Berlin's hitting shots like that. There's not an awful lot you can do, to be honest with you.
No.
Again, I liked initially, I think Shin throws the reveal, Screams layered that with a flash as well to try and ping something, but I'm not sure if the reveal was off or...
So it didn't connect.
FPX just had the god timing.
Maybe, yeah. One of those to look back through potentially. For now though, 7-6. FPX retake a little bit of that lead here. Could tee them up for more. We do see Sheriffs out. Light armor for XMS. And a stack 3 towards Sewer. They're going to continue this look as well. Nice shots. Only Navera to find any damage on the other side. Otherwise, pretty much navigating around most of the threats here.
Really an opportunity for XMS to find a consolation or two. Creeping up towards Heaven. Gonna make it even harder for him to do so. Actually, YU has full control of the flank as well, so. It's a tall order.
Yeah, it's not feeling like it's on the cards, Mike.
No, they won't be. That's YU actually probably the worst person in this composition you want to see the freebie go across to. Still 4 left to find for that tour de force, but the fact that he's saving 1,400 in that previous round, I just feel like he's going to opt for that operator pretty early on.
Yeah.
Oda actually set up pretty well with this purchase here for FPX. 2 Vandals, a Bulldog,
yeah.
a Spectre.
Other side looks dreary.
Yeah. I was questioning it because XMS, I think, only had 800 left in the previous with that light armor and Sheriff, and now it's 2 Guardians and 2 rifles.
Gosh, so much early control being fought for. A-Long looking like a high priority. And clearing out.
It's just Scream here. It's only Scream with a Guardian to hold down the fort on A site.
I'm not even seeing anyone close to hitting the rotation timing yet. And it's a pack of 3 players going towards A. There are still the 2 by mid. Yeah, perfect timing to take a look toward this. Yuchan is just sat here, posted up on this one. Spike's drifting away, though.
Rivera's got himself into a dirty spot here. YU hyper-focused on it, still punished on it. The trade is good from Berlin.
And you could see Shin considering if there was something to be done with this one. He's been noted. He's trying to get aggressive with it. The timing could have worked out, but no. Berlin with another huge denial. Upgrade found, and XMS, the madman, flies out of garage and takes the fight. But back towards A, and now it's Scream again. The challenge. He's got to go huge with this. He's seen at least a gun barrel there. Lovely shots on 1 and a second. Scream.
30 seconds left.
Stunning aim. But he needs the final one here if he wants to secure it for himself. And he's got it. Lovely. Lovely stuff from Scream.
A crazy round to watch play out. Again, I'm not entirely sure what FPX's intention is here towards lobby. They're here obviously as a Guardian to deal with the Prowler. That's not exactly what they wanted to hear, but again, they have no information elsewhere on the map. I think initially this default of Yuchun and YU over towards C-Long and double doors. It's lucky really that Carmine Corp don't show us that that wallbang comes from so deep on that wall. Of course it's a headshot.
Of course it is. What else would it be?
Now FPX forced back onto full purchase here, operator in hand. as expected for YU. This time a little tighter group towards A lobby here, at least towards window as well. But no information. Looks like Carmine Corp are happy to just ride out a very passive early round. Looks like the fault line might set up Scream for this swing. There's lots on the other side of it, but
something's making them pull the plug on the rotation at least. Leaving C, leaving Garage. They do have utility to hold it.
Look how deep the trap is on C long here. So they're going to lean heavily away from that. I'm curious actually what that knife just revealed.
Should have been a fair amount, but you know how these things work. And I think Scream, right to respect this, it was soloing out the site for some time. I mean, look at the post plant. Anything curious for it? Still a lot of utility in the hands of FPX. And Scream finds it. That's Berlin gone. And now 4 to work through. Flank on the way. What? Scream deleted. And these steps should be heard as well. Moving on the flank here. Instantly turns for it. Good trade. Needs another though. XMS now considered 2. And this could be fights on several fronts. Beautiful shot. Operator done and now TZH in combination. Watching that CT push through. And XMS, he wants out.
I'm a little curious. Once again, it's a solo setup for Scream. Obviously has the support for Nuzera to set up this fault line. Well, no, XMS is actually going to get away from it. He's desperately trying to hold on to this Phantom. YU's now posted up with the operator. Be difficult, but nobody else charging this down. FPX have to be conscious of their finances too. But the next question really I'm left with, if Scream is solo holding onto a site with only Nuzera to clear through the fault line, there's no confirmation of presence behind it. Until that knife comes back off cooldown. So it's what Carmine Corp are looking to it. Oh, that was a dirty shot from a Yang.
It seemed like it, but I wasn't 100%.
But where do Carmine Corp really pick up the slack elsewhere? There has to be some positives to really counterbalance the setup. Actually, with the Viper's Pit, sorry, the Viper Wall being invested towards B, it might be a little bit of a switch up here.
I was getting interested to see if they're willing to test the back line here, start maybe pressuring down C on, considering how deep they have been getting. XMS has been exploring it, maybe pressuring through B or Garage, but
I mean, it's rinse and repeat again for FPX, so it's Yuchun and YU to create a little bit of pressure towards double doors and C long. But already, minute 15 on the clock, they're stacked up as 5, ready to challenge a solo A site hold once again. Nivera, the one to trade out for his brother this time around. Scream slowly creeping back through spawn here. Do they commit to this? Yeah, Berlin punished immediately onto Nivera.
Scream has to back away. He can't even withhold this. The timing of that ultimate was perfect. Even just as Scream got there, they found Nivera comfortably. Spike plant, similar situation. This time around, though, no flank coming in. It's all through CT, maybe even a little towards Heaven. Plenty of utility to still, well, actually I say that, maybe not Shin. Not as much this time. Nuzera investing as best he can, but the counter utility is perfect.
That's it, yeah, they're going to get locked out with that flash and that snake bite.
It's
going to force Carmine Corp all the way back into spawn. Looking at it here, XMS, anyone really to bring some funds away from this round, I don't think is going to give Nivera a weapon. FPX will find double digits here in what's becoming a pretty concerning round if you're a Carmine Corp fan watching this one. And this slow burn for FPX really paying off for them in the second half. Again, no flash to it. It's not really, like I said, a lack of proactivity from Carmine Corp to really balance Scream being the only person on Nivera on the previous to hold on to a site.
And my worry is it puts all of that ability to then hit that switch up button in FPX's hands. They still got a round in the pocket here if you're looking at the mental game. If Carmine Corp don't come up with a response, it needed to happen. I was about to say, timeout needs to hit soon.
I mean, a lot rides on this one. They obviously saved coming through on the previous. Next round isn't necessarily comfortable. I think actually there's an armor repurchase coming through for Scream as well. That makes it even more problematic, but they lose this. They're not in a position to fall behind the next either. And FPX sitting pretty right now.
They're chuffed with this. When we asked about depth a couple of times, they haven't been pushed to that next layer yet. This first look, very robust, really, really nice. Hasn't been broken by Carmine Corp in my mind at all. what response are you looking for? Is it
they have to challenge
flank?
this default. Like I said, FPX are literally probing for 10 to 15 seconds, and then they hit A. But time and time again, Carmine Corp they're not gaining any information on the rest of the map to know that A site hit is coming. So to leave somebody committed to holding A site solo, especially challenging in that situation we saw Nevera did. I mean, Scream kind of, I guess, teetering on the edge and playing it right because of the outcome, sure. But for me, it just seems a little passive considering how FPX's early round is. Whether or not coming out of this timeout, FPX is going to look to switch things up.
So Scream denied the ability to at least peek towards long, but beyond that, here's the switch.
An early walk here
like
from Shin.
But we have been seeing this wall used a couple of times, but this, you can see what it's facilitating now. Oh, and this saw where someone might be walking it. I don't think they heard a step.
Well, they dropped the wall as well, that's the thing.
So
Shin
diligent.
is under the blanket of safety that FPX provide with that Viper wall.
So diligent, I love seeing that. And they've got the first pick. If they get any indicator the players have been drawn off of the extremities, then they can start exploring it. Already, the horn goes up, and they're actually aggressing down middle. Scream, this might be a little bit out of whack, but it works out. He finds one new Zera with another, and maybe the brawl is going to finally pay off for Carmine Corp. But this is not something you want to depend upon. Is this repeatable? Who knows? But for now, they finally have a player advantage. They're running A.
Should hear this as well. Look on the X-ray. YU wasn't too far off with that. Scream 52 HP. Nevera 43. One off the Rolling Thunder, so won't have that available. No fault line available just yet. And the Paranoia sent very early. Two caught with the C's as well, Lauren.
And one should be up now. The timing is going to be terrifying. This is going to put it all in the other player's hands. Oh my word! Needs one bullet! It's not going to get it. Zera survives.
You can see the frustration from YU as well.
Desperately tried.
Absolute sitter considering some of the shots he's been hitting.
Wow.
But by the skin of their teeth, Carmine Corp scraped together another round.
Like almost brute force and ignorance, just continuing to hammer it down middle. That first player falls, and then Scream just goes, guess I'm walking mid.
Yeah, I mean, even this, they made a meal of this one on window as well. Finally getting that second kill. But why use reposition here? The timing of it is absolutely perfect.
God, that could have been another for him too. That was one bullet away in the Headhunter.
They have to ride the wave of that round victory though.
But how do you repeat
the
that?
operator saved. And XMS is bringing the Sheriff into this one. Sure, I almost... I mean, damn, give him a judge or something.
Yeah.
2K on the back of Scream. Even with the previous round, I wouldn't even say this is a forced adjustment on the side of FPX. Nevera now.
Look how close they are.
Yeah.
I'm worried about when
they are tucked up behind this.
Still, there's 3 players. The Paranoia was going its way as well. They've cleared back of sight and they are working perfectly in unison with the utility, but straight through the smoke. Shin is there. They're not giving up the site at all. They put bodies back towards it. FPX have somewhat hit the brakes though. Only one of them being sent to the blender.
It's another example though of playing behind FPX's utility, and as a Viper, they can drop this orb, they can drop the wall at any time. Nevera the one to feel the burn of that in this round. Again, no surprises, FPX going to drift back towards A. This time around, nobody on the side of Carmine Corp defending it.
Well, if anything to go by, Scream, it was so quick to being on that B site last time. He was the one to walk middle. If they've maybe worked out, he just over-rotates a little bit here. It should be on a platter.
Finally, Scream now considering the possibility. I actually know if that knife's about to come back online.
Oh, they've got Viper's Pit too.
Yeah, this is a big problem for Carmine Corp. Yuchen's still got 2 snake bites as well, so he can really, really slow them down.
And there's no flank. There's no like depth to it beyond what's coming through this way.
Scream's gone up. XMS has got a Sheriff. I'm pretty sure there's a gun down on B site as well.
These trades would have to be unreal for it to work out. And Scream some...
Oh no. Oh no.
They're falling out of the sky. Scream, what have you got for me? Nothing. Nothing at all. Oh, it's 11.
Is there not a weapon down on B site here?
I thought there was.
Nevera's dropped the operator. There was a player that was caught by the Rolling Thunder to come through.
We're back in prison, Valorant. What is it?
I mean, it looked good initially. Screen found 2 with the operator coming out.
I don't know how he's found 2 either.
And then XMS has busted his ankles on the way down here. FPX on 11 here,
yeah.
and knocking on the door at 12 considering this purchase.
Careful here.
Carmine Corp keep just throwing sheriffs into some of these rounds. I feel like that Scream and Nevera liquid effect still in play for them. Force something into some of them. Hero rifle for Scream, and he's down at 750.
Well, this could certainly turn the game on its head now. So worried it would have petered out in the second half. I think we made that clear after map 1. I think anyone, given the eye test, wasn't too enamored with what they saw, but this is a whole different beast. Shin, though, gets a free chance at it, and he gets 1. Good trade, doesn't let it go out of control. XMS finally tested, but the paranoia there, the Seeker there, it's just a pour on of utility. And there's no escape for Nevera. Yes, Nuzera's there, but again, they are just overwhelmed at this point, but do they hit the brakes? They do. Scream's on the flank, but by now, how much can he get done?
I'm not sure if that's a miscommunication there. Nuzera catches a massive fault line, but doesn't actually swing off that. Nevera punished for it. Ayan creeping closer and closer. XMS shut down here. Nuzera next up. He will fall, and Scream is stuck behind the trap.
What you gonna do now, Scream? Got the sight, and it looks like they're about to get 12. This game went from looking comfortable, looking pretty good, a little quirky at times, but this, I've got to say, Carmine Corp falling short of an answer in my book. A lot of greatness shown from FPX, can't deny that, but this is, where is the answer? A lot of the questions that we came in with initially in this game were, okay, the in-game leadership, how does that look? How does that maybe affect Scream's individual performance? Well, he's still sitting on 18, he's still looking pretty solid individually.
Hasn't played bad at all.
No.
It's been some of the inability to really adjust to what FPX employed in the early rounds. Like I said, there wasn't an awful lot of flash to what FPX were doing. It was just a lack of response from Carmine Corp. Maybe that is, you know, what Josh was alluding to earlier, relieve some of the pressure from a player like Scream, but here on the KO, an awful lot for him to do. We'll find 2 consolations, but pretty sure FPX, how this run of rounds has looked in the second half, not going to feel the pinch whatsoever. Tour de force available, Berlin. Sound ultimate, I mean, Shins. Like I said here, I mean, it's the stun as well. That the fault line was perfect. There was no second swing from default there from Nuzera. With XMS backing off. Like I said, I don't know if that was just a miscommunication, but Nevera's there ready to swing off the fault line.
Yeah. Something going wrong, but now something going oh so right for FPX. Quick intentions towards the B site. Lots of utility poured on through. A little bit of a trade out here, but the site's theirs. It's been 1. And it's a quick plant as well. Maybe a counter. Oh, yes. Shin going to commit his right back through. But again, that may only catch 2 of the players here. Looking at the back lines, it's only Scream to try and be the disruptive factor towards that.
Yeah, Yu-Chun wise to it already. With a lack of pressure on site, he can just post up on this position. Paranoia not going to catch anything. Nobody in backside. Berlin playing inside his poison orb could cause problems for Carmine Corp.
Oh, quick trade though. XMS not going to drop the ball just yet, but now called to attention. They have to be careful of that spike. A tap towards it will draw eyes. Scream now in the back lines being a problem. 3-man face. Carmine Corp desperately trying to fight and falling to FPX. Can you believe it? We're going all 3.
A beautiful pace change here to close things out. And win map 2 on Haven, forcing the 3rd. We will go to Pearl. I think answering a lot of questions that we had after an underwhelming performance on Lotus on that map 1.
Yep.
Absolutely squashing those questions. Yeah, much closer affair here in terms of the first bloods as well. That was the thing that really stuck out from map 1. FPX rarely felt like they were in a disadvantage in some of these rounds.
And I genuinely thought we'd be kind of looking at the more experienced players coming into play here for Carmine Corp, considering they've had a lot of international stage experience. They've had that ability to kind of work through that before, play other international teams. But in reality, this was very much a no response coming out. A couple of timeouts, they had a couple of answers. We saw that mid-exploration coming in. It wasn't repeatable success, however. No,
it really wasn't. I think actually it comes down, you have to once again give credit to obviously FPX's ability to pull off some of these retakes. I feel like it was, I don't know if the desk will be able to answer this, but it was like 5 or 6, 5 out of 6, sorry, attempted retakes that came off successful. Carmine Corp unable to really hold on to some of the key win conditions in that first half. I think it continues as well. FPX happy to play a little unorthodox, and maybe that's what's completely throwing Scream off as the IGL, just an inability to grasp the macro in some of these rounds. I love that we saw that Berlin replay again.
Yeah. And again, yes, a little unorthodox, but not completely out of the realms of what we're used to.
No, like I said, in my eyes, and again, it's very easy to stand here and say this from the outside looking in, but there were some simple fixes that I don't feel as if we saw Carmine Corp even really attempt until it was too late. It felt like at that point, you're on the back foot, you haven't got the benefit of the finances, you're just in a chokehold at that point.
It did absolutely feel like that, and quite a long game apparently. This replay is going through it all step by step, but there's not much left to be said about this map. In all honesty, I think the desk will be able to break down far more of the intricacies there as we have to prepare ourselves for map 3, which I don't think many of us expected after map 1. I think a fair assessment, but what a turn of events here for FPX. Right, well, that's done it for us. Let's head back to the desk, hopefully to give us a little bit of a reprise here after a very surprising map 2.